Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today on the Dow Jones.
Oh, yeah.
But with a bit of a twist.
Hmm.
We're not just looking at the overall index performance.
Okay.
We want to know about the stocks that are actually doing really well in 2025.
Right.
Even though overall the Dow is kind of having
kind of a flat year.
meh year.
Yeah.
So we've got this great article from the Motley Fool.
Okay.
You know them.
Yeah.
They're like the finance
They're
pros.
finance gurus. Yeah.
And they broke down 3 companies that are just defying the odds.
Interesting.
So are you ready for some surprising stock insights?
I am.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So first up, we've got this company that's
Yeah.
been around forever,
Hmm.
but all of a sudden it's looking very youthful and fresh.
Oh.
It's IBM.
IBM. Oh, wow.
Their stock is up almost 20% year to date.
Wow.
Not bad for a company that some people thought was past its prime.
Yeah, not bad at all. Actually, to give you some context, their 2024 performance was already pretty strong.
Wow.
So this is even better than that. So what's driving this surge? They are really laser focused on AI solutions, but not just any AIs. They're targeting real world problems that businesses are facing, The article even mentions that they have a $5 billion generative AI book of business.
Whoa, hold on. $5 billion generative AI book of business.
It sounds very...
That sounds very technical.
Doesn't it? But it's actually...
Break that down for me.
Simpler than it sounds. So generative AI is all about AI that can create new content. So think images or text or even code.
Oh, wow.
So this $5 billion figure basically means that IBM has a ton of projects going on where they're using this type of AI to help businesses.
So maybe helping a company create marketing materials.
Exactly.
Or a system that can write basic code so then they can free up their developers to work on the more complicated stuff.
That's exactly it.
Wow. So they're using AI to tackle some pretty big challenges for businesses.
Yeah.
That's way more concrete than just saying they're focused on AI.
Right.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The article mentions this Chinese AI company, DeepSeek, that's making waves with their low-cost models.
I see.
Now, you would think that would be bad news for IBM.
Right.
But could it actually help them?
That's a great question, and it really highlights how complex the AI world is.
Yeah.
You see, DeepSeek is making AI more accessible, particularly for smaller businesses who maybe couldn't afford it before.
Right.
But if you think about it, if suddenly way more companies are interested in using AI, they're going to need help, implementing it, making sure it actually works for their specific needs.
Right.
And that's where IBM's expertise comes in.
So it's DeepSeek opens the door to the AI world, and then IBM is there to help you navigate it.
Exactly. It's like this partnership, even if they aren't directly working together.
Right.
DeepSeek makes the entry point easier. And then IBM provides that high-level expertise to really get the most out of AI. So they're both playing in the same space, but they're kind of catering to different levels of need.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's not always about direct competition.
Yeah.
Sometimes a rising tide lifts all boats.
Precisely.
All right, now for something completely different. Let's talk about Amgen. They're a biotech company. And while they had a bit of a rough 2024, they're bouncing back in a big way in 2025. 16% growth.
Wow.
What's their secret sauce? Did they discover a miracle cure?
Well, they do have a new FDA-approved treatment for colorectal cancer.
Oh, wow.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's more than just one blockbuster drug. They have 10 different products with double-digit sales growth.
10. Okay, hold on. We need to unpack this.
Okay.
What are these magical products?
Well, they have a really diverse portfolio. They've got medications for things like rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, and even certain types of cancer. Like that colorectal treatment that we just mentioned. So the key takeaway here is that they're not reliant on just one miracle drug. Their success is spread across multiple products, which makes them much more resilient to competition or setbacks with any single treatment.
So they're diversified.
Yeah.
Which is always a good thing in the stock market.
Always a good thing.
But what about their financials beyond just sales? What makes them a good investment?
Well, on top of those strong sales figures, their free cash flow is incredibly healthy. We're talking over $10 billion.
Okay, for those of us who don't spend all day analyzing financial statements,
Here.
break down what free cash flow actually means.
Right.
And why we should care.
So free cash flow is essentially the cash a company has left over after paying for its operating expenses and capital expenditures.
Okay.
It's the money they have available to maybe invest in new projects, buy back stock, pay dividends, you name it.
Okay.
So Amgen having this huge free cash flow means they've got a lot of flexibility to make those strategic decisions that'll benefit the company and their investors in the long run.
So they got the cash to play with. That's a good sign. They sound like a company with both a head for business and a heart tackling serious diseases while making money for investors.
Yeah.
Now, last but definitely not least,
Okay.
let's talk about a company that's practically synonymous with America.
All right.
Coca-Cola. I bet everyone listening knows Coke.
Yeah.
But they might not know their stock is nearly at an all-time high.
It's true. Almost 15% growth this year, which is really impressive for such a well-established company.
So what's driving this growth? Are people suddenly drinking way more Coke?
Well, it's a combination of factors. They had really solid Q4 earnings.
Okay.
They're gaining market share from competitors. And get this, they just increased their dividend for the 63rd year in a row.
Wait, 63 years in a row? That's longer than I've been alive.
It's true. That kind of consistency is pretty rare.
Yeah.
In the investment world, they call that a dividend king.
Mm-hmm.
A company that's increased its dividend for at least 50 consecutive years.
Wow.
It's a sign of stability and commitment to returning value to shareholders.
Okay, so Coke is a dividend king.
They are.
That sounds pretty impressive. But some investors might say that consistent dividend growth like that means they're not growing as fast as they could be.
That's a valid point.
What do you say to that?
You know, for some investors, particularly those who are really focused on aggressive growth,
Right.
Coca-Cola might not be the most exciting pick. But for others, particularly those who prioritize a steady stream of income,
Yeah.
that dividend track record is pure gold.
It's all about what you're looking for as an investor.
Yeah.
Some people want the thrill of a high-growth stock. Others want the stability of a dividend king.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to investing.
So we've got IBM riding the AI waves, Amgen developing life-saving treatments, and Coca-Cola proving that sometimes slow and steady wins the race. What a diverse mix of companies.
It really highlights the beauty of the Dow Jones. It's not just a single industry or sector. It's like a snapshot of the American economy with all its, complexities and opportunities.
Right. Speaking of opportunities, we focused on these three companies.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what about the bigger picture? What are some of the key trends and factors that are shaping the investment landscape in 2025?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll definitely dive deeper into in the next part of our deep dive.
Oak cliffhanger.
Little cliffhanger.
All right, listeners, you'll have to tune in next time to find out what's really driving the market in 2025. Don't worry, we'll be back soon with more insights and analysis.
Definitely.
See.
Bye. We left you hanging last time.
Oh, yeah.
With that promise of exploring some of the bigger trends shaping the market in 2025.
Yeah, give us the inside scoop.
Okay, well, first off,
Yeah.
we've been seeing a lot of volatility over the past few years, and that's likely to continue.
Really?
Inflation, interest rates, geopolitical tensions,
Right.
all these factors
Yeah.
can make investors jittery and drive some wild market swings.
So a bit of a roller coaster ride for investors.
Yeah, you could say that.
But that's part of the game, right?
It definitely keeps things interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But even amidst all this uncertainty, there are some really exciting opportunities emerging.
Okay, you got my attention. What kind of opportunities are we talking about?
Well, one trend I'm particularly interested in is the rise of sustainable investing.
Oh, interesting.
More and more investors are looking for companies that are not just profitable, but also environmentally and socially responsible.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
People want to feel good about where they're putting their money.
Absolutely.
It's not just about making a buck anymore. It's about making a difference.
Exactly. And this trend is only going to get bigger.
Really?
In the coming years, companies that prioritize sustainability are going to be rewarded by investors, by consumers, by regulators. It's about building a better future.
I love that. Okay, so sustainability is a big one. What other trends are you seeing?
Well, going back to what we were talking about earlier with IBM,
Yeah.
AI is absolutely exploding right now.
It really does feel like it's everywhere.
It's not just a buzzword. It's fundamentally changing how businesses operate and how we live our lives.
And it sounds like IBM is positioning themselves to be a leader in that space, especially with that $5 billion generative AI book of business you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely. And it's not just IBM. We're seeing innovation in AI across all sectors, healthcare, finance, manufacturing, even entertainment.
Wow.
It's really a game changer.
So AI is a huge trend to watch. What else is on your radar?
Another interesting development is the rise of personalized medicine with advances in genomics and data analysis.
Right.
We're getting closer and closer to being able to tailor treatments to individual patients.
That's incredible. It's like science fiction becoming reality.
I know, it's really cool.
What does that mean for investors?
It means there are huge opportunities in the biotech and healthcare sectors.
Okay.
Companies that are developing these innovative treatments and diagnostic tools are poised for major growth in the coming years.
So those are definitely areas to keep an eye on. Okay, so we've got sustainability, AI, personalized medicine, all these incredible trends shaping the market.
Right.
But let's not forget about the companies we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
How are they navigating these trends?
Yeah. Going back to IBM, they're clearly betting big on AI as a growth driver. You know, they're positioning themselves as the go-to solution for businesses looking to really harness the power of AI. And remember that Chinese company DeepSeek? That we talked about? They're making AI more accessible, which could actually benefit IBM by creating more demand for their services.
Right. Like we talked about earlier, it's not always about direct competition. Sometimes a new player can actually expand the market for everyone.
Exactly.
But what about Amgen? How are they fitting into this rapidly changing landscape?
Amgen is all about innovation in the biotech space. They're constantly developing new treatments, expanding their portfolio.
Right.
Remember those 10 products with double-digit sales growth?
Yeah.
That's a testament to their ability to really stay ahead of the curve and deliver those products that meet real patient needs.
So they're not just riding the wave, they're creating their own waves.
Yeah, I like that.
That's impressive. What about Coca-Cola? How are they adapting to these broader trends?
Coca-Cola is an interesting case. You know,
Yeah.
they're a classic example of a company that has to constantly evolve to stay relevant.
Right.
They're facing challenges from health-conscious consumers who are moving away from sugary drinks.
Yeah, for sure.
But they're not sitting still, you know. They're diversifying their product line, introducing healthier options like bottled water teas, even plant-based beverages.
So they're acknowledging the changing landscape.
Yeah.
And adapting their strategy.
Exactly. They're not afraid to experiment and try new things while still staying true to their core brand identity.
It's like they're saying, we hear you, we're changing with the times, but we're still the Coca-Cola, you know, and love.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've talked about IBM, Amgen, and Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
3 very different companies navigating a complex and ever-changing market.
Yeah.
It's clear that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to success.
Absolutely. What works for one company might not work for another.
Right.
It's all about understanding your strengths, anticipating challenges, and being adaptable.
So for you, the listener, it's not just about picking stocks based on hype or headlines.
Right.
It's about understanding the bigger picture.
Yeah.
The forces that are shaping the market and choosing companies that are well-positioned for the future.
That's the key takeaway. Don't just invest in companies, invest in trends.
So how do we do that? How do we identify those trends and find the companies that are riding them?
That's where things get really interesting. And that's what we'll delve into in the final part of our deep dive.
Oh, another cliffhanger.
Gotta keep you coming back for more.
All right, listeners, you'll have to stick with us to find out how to spot those market-moving trends and uncover the next wave of investment opportunities. We'll be right back.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the Dow Jones and beyond.
Yeah.
We've covered some awesome companies.
Yes.
IBM with their AI,
Right.
Amgen innovating in biotech,
Uh-huh.
and Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
the Dividend King.
The Dividend King. That's right.
Proving that slow and steady wins the race sometimes.
Sometimes it does.
But now it's time to answer the big question.
Okay.
How do you, the listener, actually spot those market-moving trends
All right.
and uncover the next wave of investment opportunities?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And it's not always easy.
Right.
But I think it all starts with being curious and observant.
Okay.
You know, pay attention to what's happening in the world around you. What are people talking about?
Yeah.
What problems are they trying to solve? What new technologies are emerging? So it's not just about reading financial reports.
No.
It's about being aware of the broader context.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
Before smartphones were everywhere,
Yeah.
someone had to recognize the need for a device that could do more than just make calls.
Right.
They had to see the potential for a mini computer in everyone's pocket.
Yeah.
That's spotting a trend.
Okay, so we need to be trend spotters.
Yeah.
Like those cool kids who always know what's going to be the next big thing.
Exactly.
But how do we translate that into like investment decisions.
Well, once you've identified a trend, you need to figure out which companies are best positioned to capitalize on it. Who are the innovators?
Yeah.
Who has the technology, the resources, the vision to be a leader in this new space?
So it's not just about jumping on any company that's vaguely related to the trend.
No.
It's about finding the ones that are actually going to make a real impact.
Exactly. Think about the early days of the internet.
Yeah.
Tons of companies popping up, but only a handful became the giants that we know today.
Right.
Those were the companies that not only understood the technology, but also had a clear strategy for how to use it to create value.
So we need to do our research.
Yeah.
Look beyond the hype and figure out which companies have a real plan.
A real plan. That's right.
But I'm guessing it's not always that simple.
You're right. It's rarely straightforward.
Yeah.
There are always risks involved, and no one can predict the future with 100% certainty. But by being informed, doing your due diligence, being willing to take calculated risks, you can significantly increase your chances of success.
So it's all about finding that balance
Yeah.
between being adventurous and being smart.
Exactly. It's like being an explorer charting unknown territory.
I like that.
You got to be bold,
Yeah.
but you also got to be prepared.
That's such a great analogy.
Thanks.
And I think it perfectly captures the spirit of investing.
Yeah.
It's about being curious, learning, adapting, and ultimately being part of something bigger than yourself.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Investing is about more than just making money. It's about participating in the progress of humanity.
Yeah.
Supporting the companies that are building the future we want to see.
That's such a powerful message. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, the listener, with a challenge.
Okay.
What trends are you seeing in the world around you?
Yeah, what problems are waiting to be solved?
What opportunities are out there just waiting to be discovered?
And most importantly, what role will you play in shaping the future?
That's all for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of the Dow Jones and beyond. Remember, investing is a marathon, not a sprint. So stay curious, keep learning, and most importantly, never stop exploring.